Hello, Red Raiders. Today we're going to be talking about how to host elections on TechConnect, but there are a couple of things that we need to go over first. The first thing is please review your organization's constitution and bylaws and follow the procedures outlined under the quorum and voting sections as closely as possible. Next, we're going to talk about quorum. A definition of quorum is how many members have to be present for an election to take place. A quorum must be used both in-person and online methods. A good example for how quorum works is, let's say you stated majority is your quorum in your constitution and bylaws. If your organization has 10 members total, then you would need to have 50% or 5 members plus 1, which equals 6 members, to be a viable election. Finally, talking about voting, you can only hold votes if the quorum is met. In this example, we use majority. However, once again, please review your constitution and bylaws to see how your organization has voting and quorum set up. Now, let's get into how to actually set up the election for your organization. First, you're going to log on to TechConnect.com and make sure that you are logged in with your account. Next, you're going to open the sidebar and find your organization. You will then click on it, and you'll come to your organization's homepage. Once here, click on the Manage Organization button. And under Organization Tools, you will click on Elections. Once on your page, you can see here are a couple of elections I've done in the past for this organization. However, today we're going to be creating an election. So you'll click this button right here. Once on this page, you will name your election. And if you would like to include any additional instructions, you can do that in this text box here. Under that, you will make sure that you set the correct date and time that you would like your election to start and when you would like it to end. This box right here is automatically clicked, display an alert on the organization homepage when the election is active and voting is open. And then this checkbox I've gone ahead and clicked, which allows only users listed on the organization roster to vote. You need to click this because if people who are not members are voting, it could invalidate your election. However, you will need to ensure that your roster is updated before hosting elections on TechConnect. Once you're finished, you will click this Save button right here. Once you click the Save button, you will come to a page where you can now create a ballot. For our video, I've created 3 example ballots. The first one we're going to look at is the president. When creating a ballot, all of your options for questions are at the bottom. For this, I've created a radio button list. You can now see my options and my question, who would you like to vote for? Raider 1, 2, 3, or abstain. If you would like to know how to add this little I right here, it is how you can show extra information, like if someone wants to link their resume. To do that, you click on the question, you then hit the edit button, you will go to Answers, scroll down on the option you'd like to add more to, and click Include Additional Text, where you can put that information right here. And just hit OK to save. The next we will be looking at is the Vice President. For the Vice President position, I created a ranking system. Once you create the options here, Raider 1, 2, and 3, you can then rank them in order of first, second, or third, depending on how you would like to vote. And then finally, we will be looking at the treasurer position for this organization. For this option, I chose to create a text field question. The text field option is really good whenever you'd like to have a write-in for a position and or nobody has been nominated for that position or nobody is running for that position. Then once once everyone votes, to see your results, you'll come up to the Results tab back on the elections backend page, and you'll be able to see, oh, here are all of the votes. For this organization, no one has voted yet, but if you would like to, you can see a specific results if you export ballot votes to Microsoft Excel right here. Especially, like I mentioned with the text box, If you go here and export your ballot votes, you won't be able to see the specific names listed here, but when you export it, you will be able to see those names and you can host another election to then select out of those options that people nominated or presented on. Finally, the last thing we'll look at is our publishing options tab right here. This right here is a link that you can send out to people to have them that links directly to this election that you're hosting. It's very important that once again, you make sure you have this click display an alert on the organization homepage when the election is active and voting is open. That way, if people can't get through the link, they can still go through TechConnect once they've joined and they can find it on the organization's homepage. And then once you're finished with the election, just make sure you hit save. And there you go. Your election is ready to run.